Hi, and thank you for downloading the Photoshop Design and Mockup Workflow template. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you exactly how this works and how it'll save you hours every time you create a new design. All you need is Adobe Photoshop, no plugins, no add-ons, no extra software. By the end of this video, you'll see how one design file feeds 7 mockups and how the same artwork is already sitting in a print-ready template. Okay, so I have installed my Photoshop. I have a few other apps installed from Adobe Creative Cloud, but this tutorial specifically would be for Photoshop only. Let's get into it. So basically, you would have downloaded this file and you would have just extracted the contents to wherever you'd like, and you would sit with this file. Once you have that file, you can open up that file and you'll see 4 pre-built folders in here, which is the create a design file, design link file, the panels file, and finally the presentations file. So once you open the create design file, this is obviously where you would create your design. The link file would be that design pulled into links into Photoshop. The third one is the panels that you export, which would be these panels, as well as the names panels, should there be any names on the garments. And the fourth one would be the presentations. In here you have these files. They are basically the mockup templates. This is the one you would send to your clients with your branding on it. These are the empty shell mockups that will be pulling in your artwork that is designed in this folder. Okay, so the first step would be to create the design, to open up the create design file, and you would see this folder. The way this is laid out with our slices for our panels, because keep in mind that once everything is exported and the mockups have been built, the panels would also be pre-built, exported, and are ready for print. So what you see here is basically the blueprints of the shirt and the labels that clearly explain to you that this is the left arm, that's the right arm, the back panel, and the front panel. These are the 2 colors that I use in this template. I normally make them the same color, but there are cases where the inside of the collar would be a different color to the outside of the collar. The blueprint folder in your layers panel, this is where you would see your different garments. So you've done your design, or you know you're going to be doing a shirt design and a tank top design, for example. Then you would do your shirt design and switch to your tank top design. You might have to move some logos around because you have less space up here. Move some things in, but that is the gist of it. Same applies to the dress panels and then the shorts panels, as I normally make use of the sleeve panels for the legs of the shorts. Unless you only want to specifically design the shorts, you're welcome to do so. So let's go back and do the shirt template. So we have our chest panel, which you are more than welcome to design above the chest layer or label. I have added this image, which I downloaded from Adobe Stock, just to present as an example. The margin lines is indicated here. If you had to add a logo, that would go exactly there and it would be perfect on the perfect spot for your design. This you can add from anywhere you would like. Let's say, for example, if I had done my design and this was the design and I had to add a different logo, I would be able to do so. So if I wanted the logo to be there, I could do it, and then I would save my artwork. So I'm doing it wrong. So now the next step would be open up the design link file, which we've got open here, and it has not updated the way we wanted. That's what the update relink layer is here. So you would right click and just hit update all modified content. This would now pull in everything exactly the way it is here. So the mistake we did is, if we wanted to export these panels, then they would have these lines, they would have the labels, which is incorrect. So we'd have to go back to the design file, switch off the labels and switch off the blueprints. Now we have clean panels of our artwork, the chest, the back, the right arm and the left arm, and obviously the two collars. If we wanted to make the collar anything, we would not be able to do that here. It would have to go above the collars label, and we can make them any color we want to. So I'm just going to save this file again, and because the design link file is open, it would update automatically. So I'm just going to save this file, as some of the mockups are built with pulling in this exact design file, and some of them are built by pulling in the separate panels, which would be the print ready panels. I've set up this template to slice all of these panels into the correct files. So you would export these by hitting Control, Shift, Alt and S, or File, Export, Save for Web. JPEGs at maximum quality, and all the other settings are correct, and I would hit Save. This would be saved in the main file or root file, where you would go to your panels, and this images folder that you see here, this is the default images folder created by Photoshop. So I would just save it in there, and it wants to replace it, which is fine. So now we have our exported panels. There's the back, there's the chest, there's the two collars, the left arm and the right arm. I'll explain to you later how to add the names to the front and the back. But for now, let's just continue with the artwork we have here. So the next thing obviously would have to be to see the presentations. So here we have the first one being the all mockup file, which we are not going to be opening now. Because we did the shirt mockup, I'm going to open up that design. Again, it has not been updated because it was closed while we were working on these designs. So there's the update all modified content file, which I just re-click and I hit update all modified content. It has now pulled in all of our artwork exactly as it is displayed on the design file into the mockup. This mockup can now be saved. Just to show you, that was the artwork for the short sleeve shirt. Then we have our long sleeve shirt mockup, which has not updated. Right click, update all modified content. The dress, update all modified content. Just running through all of them quickly. The jacket, right click, update all modified content. And the same for the shorts. As mentioned, I use the short panels. I'm just using these two sleeve panels. But that's basically the gist of it. So here you can see, for example, the tank top does not work this way because of obviously where the patterns go. So I would then have to go back here, switch on my blueprints, switch on the tank top blueprint, move that down, switch off the blueprints, save that, and my tank top mockup will now be updated. So now this is where this exciting bit comes. Now, once we've done all of these mockups, we can now go to our all mockup file. This is the one that you would be sending to your clients for presentation purposes. So it wants to update. As you can see there, it's not updated yet. So I have created this all mockup file for you to send to your clients. There's the design name that you can change. These smart objects are within the text element folder. There's your logo, your avatar that you can open up and add your own logos. For example, let's say if I added that one, close it up, your logo, Smart object, open that up. Here we can add Design Odyssey, for example, and hide that one. Save that. And then you have your mockups. You can pre-populate all this information to suit your needs. And then if we right click here and we say update all modified content, we can toggle these on and off. But this shirt is not been updated. Let's go back and see why. It's because this file has not been saved. So once I save that file, I return to my all mockup. There we go. There we have our short sleeve shirt. We have our long sleeve shirt. We have our dress, our jacket, our shorts, tank top. What's wrong with the tank top? Let's see. Again, the file was not saved. So we have to go back, save the file, and then it automatically updates. We have different backgrounds for this template. Currently we are set on the black one. We have a gradient one, which we can double click and edit right here if we wanted. There's a lot of different presets we can use, for example, to match the design or not, depending on what you like. Just setting that back. I have my hue and saturation to change any colors, which is now changing the gradient, the enabled gradient layer. So we can use that. Okay. And then this will now be populated, and this can be exported to wherever you want, wherever your file system needs it, and saved. I normally save these out as a JPEG, and then I am able to share this artwork with all my branding to my clients. So you can save these anywhere on your filing system that you'd like. You can save it within the root folder supplied by this file. You can save it as anything. JPEGs work well on these to send to your clients. You can save for your online shops, your e-commerce shops. I would much rather export these as WebP files, which are small and very good quality, and you can upload them from there. With regards to the names on the shirts or any other item, we don't do the names in the design file, neither do we do them in the link file. They're actually based inside here, but we have a file for them. So when we've exported our panels, we had these images that were linked into our mockups. But then we're getting back to this folder. So this folder has a back names and a front names. So let's open up the front names quickly. So here you'll see that you have the basic layout of the shirt, the way it looked, except for now we have a name here. So we can style this name any way we want. We can change fonts. We can even move it around if we wanted to. We could put it that side. We could increase the size, whatever the case might be. I'm just gonna, let's call this whatever. I'm gonna save this file, and I'm going to open up the back name. I'm gonna name this whatever as well. The same thing applies to the back panel. The logo, the Odyssey logo we put in the design link, we put all the way down here. It is now actually in the way of the number 12. So there's the number 12. We can just move it down, or we can go back to the design file and move the logo around. But let's say we didn't want a number, then we just turn it off. I'm just putting it in there in case, we need it. So I'm going to save this out. I'm going to go back to my short sleeve mockup, but it's not there. I'm going to then look at these folders that we have here, and I'm going to expand them. You'll see that there are green little layers called front. There we go. Front and back. Whatever. If we go re-enable the 12, we can make it any number. We can make it 7. and we save that file, because both files are open, it will automatically be pulled into the number 7 spot. If I save this file out and I go back to my all mockup file and I go down to my short sleeve shirt, there we go. It's saved there and it's ready to be exported. We can change the color of background once again, as mentioned before. Just to get back to the shirt mockup, and this applies to all of the mockups, let's just close all of these up again, is I've added different collars in different of the apparel items. So for example, let's say we didn't want the round neck collar, we wanted the placket collar. Okay, so now just to show you how easy it is to run this process, to basically, let's go through it from the start. So let's say for example, you've already designed, as I've been using this template for quite some time now, and I've designed most of my designs, or actually 95% of all my designs, on this template and save them in different places on my computer. I would then go to the design link file and then skip the create design file because the design already exists. I would go to update or relink. I would right click and hit relink. Then I'm just going to scroll to any design that I have. Let's say for example shirt 60, this one. I'm going to relink that design file, and it's going to take some time to update, and there we go. The file's updated. It works the same way as everything else. The blueprints are still there, the labels are still there, it's exactly the same thing. I'm just going to clear it out, save that file, Control Shift Alt S that file to save for web, save it out, rewrite the images folder, replacing all those files. Now the magic happens. It reloads everything here, saving that out. It reloads all of these mockups. So that is how easy and how magical this system is. I'm just saving them as we move along, so that when I get to the end where the all mockups are, I would be able to see them all here. And this is easily exportable for, like I said earlier, for your clients or whoever you're doing the design for. You'd add your design name here, and obviously I would have all my other details entered, and save this out as a JPEG and send that file to the clients.
Scrolling past a million things, then your colors start to swing. Every frame a tiny